Okay. Welcome. I'm going to tell you a little story. In 2017, Swinburne University drafted its second Reconciliation Action Plan. This document contained 80 targets across 7 themes. At the bottom of page 16, very, very small print, appears the following target. In partnership with Reconciliation Australia, organise and host a national conference on RAPs. Today, we are experiencing the realisation of this one target. This realisation has taken 18 months of planning, negotiating, creating, and a lot of overtime. The learning has been rich, strong connections have been forged, and we've had some fun along the way. An integral part of the realisation of this target has been the support received from our partners, as well as from all of you. And I am overwhelmed to be standing up here and seeing this space filled with so many people. We were very nervous when we took on this one tiny target that there wouldn't be any interest in this. I was very, very wrong. We have at capacity, and we have a long waiting list of people who really wanted to be here today. And I think that says a lot about the program itself and a lot about our shared priorities in this space. My name is Angela, and I'm going to be your conference MC. I am a Palawa woman from Cape Barren Island, my mob, the Maynards. Are there any Tassie mob out there? I knew there'd have to be somebody. We're always, everywhere, I'm very surprised. I've been living here on the lands of the Wurundjeri people for 6 years. I'm just thinking, go back in time to when my daughter was born, and it's a wonderful place to be. Now, in the room today are my colleagues from the Mundine Toombadal Centre at Swinburne University. Mundine Toombadal means embracing teaching and learning in Wurundjeri language. My team are here to assist you throughout the conference. Put your hands up. They are over the back, hiding around, doing that very important work. We also have a large team from Reconciliation Australia who are here to provide assistance as well. Put your hands up. Here supporting, and actually down the back, and we were here till very late last night together. Each person attending the conference has a unique story to tell, and this story will form part of a larger reconciliation narrative which has formally echoed across our country for decades and informally for centuries. This is a living narrative of loss, conflict, dispossession, exclusion, empowerment, resilience, self-determination and commitment. And reconciliation plays an important role in this narrative. The future of our nation is dependent on the relationships that we form today. Reconciliation is a platform that enables us to build the relationship between Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and the wider Australian community. This relationship is based on mutual trust and respect. As the RAP program continues to grow, so too does the narrative of reconciliation. As each organisation embarks on their first RAP, a new chapter is added, with each individual in the organisation taking on the role of an author. The purpose of this conference is to connect the various chapters in this reconciliation narrative and begin to draft new ones. This conference enables us to reflect on our journey and find inspiration from those who provide leadership. This conference respects the sovereignty of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander knowledges and incorporates Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander ways of knowing. Throughout the conference, we ask you to consider the following: deep listening, be present in the moment, and respect that knowledge keepers are sharing information with you for a reason. And it's your responsibility to listen deeply and reflect upon this knowledge and what it means for you and your organisation. Respect. We will uphold the conditions of our welcome to country by respecting people, place and culture, and two-way learning. Reconciliation is clearly everyone's business, and we acknowledge that each conference delegate has an important role to play in this journey. Be open to learning new things and expanding your worldview. To officially welcome you to the first National Rap Conference, I would like to introduce the person who wrote that tiny rap target, Professor Andrew Gunston.
Thanks very much, Angela. And I want to acknowledge your enormous contribution to both the vision and the organisation of this conference. I'm delighted you're the MC for the conference, that you'll be guiding us in our learnings and engagements over the next 2 days. I respectfully acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting for this conference, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and future. I also pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are here today, and acknowledge the continuing sovereignties of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations. It is a great pleasure to welcome Senior Wurundjeri Elder Aunty Murphy-Wandin AO. Aunty was made an Officer of the Order of Australia in 2006 for her significant contributions in the fields of social justice, land rights, reconciliation, equal opportunity and art. Some of Aunty Joy's many roles include being a University Elder at La Trobe University, Chair of the Willan Centre at Victorian College of the Arts, co-patron of keeping Koori kids safe in Catholic education, patron for the Parliament of World Religions, and an ambassador for Breast Screen Victoria and Australia Day Victoria. I'd like to invite Aunty Joy to deliver the welcome to country.
Thanks very much, Andrew. It is, oh my God. Well done, everybody. This is fantastic. Yeah, I'd like to begin by saying I'm really happy. Gee. Okay. I'd like to begin by acknowledge that we're on the traditional land of my fathers, and I'm just so grateful to be his daughter. Moments like this, I wish he was here. Like all of our elders were here so they could see how people can come together, and the leadership in our community, the support of so many other organisations, and of course Swinburne University for holding this conference. Could I also acknowledge each and every one of you that are in this room today. To our community, both from within this great nation and our neighbouring islands, I want to say Nodjkumwa, thank you. Thank you. To all our other supporters, Richmond Football Club, Brendon, Gale. Club has just been magnificent, what else can I say? They've taken us on a journey as we have taken them on a journey, and we've come together, and you know, we have this wonderful institute. Just for example, we have such a great relationship, partnership with our community. It just makes a difference to your everyday life, your everyday living. Makes you feel good, makes you feel that you're really wanted, that you're accepted for who you are, not for who they want you to be. That's huge. It's also, I think, today is a really meaningful thing in that it is about time we had such a conference, and I just want to congratulate and thank Swinburne University, because I don't know how many raps there are, but I remember starting off a long time ago helping people and just saying, you know, you've got to be able to do what you say you're going to do. But more importantly, it has to be for the benefit of our community, especially our kids. And, you know, if you can't do that, then start little, just by saying that, you know, asking the question, how do we acknowledge a country, or, you know, is it appropriate to have welcome to country? Those questions that sometimes are too hard to ask. So for me, I think it's the really basic stuff. and when I'm asked to do anything, that's where I start from. Because I think sometimes we jump too quickly and we kind of miss the important part. We miss the values and the integrity of what Aboriginal culture and heritage is about, and particularly how to form a true and meaningful partnership. I think there are about 1,000 people I was going to say thank you and acknowledge, but I will acknowledge Vice Chancellor of Swinburne University, Professor Linda Kristjanson, and thank you, Professor Andrew Gunston. Professor Andrew Peters, I don't think I've had to say that publicly, and all my friends at Swinburne, fantastic effort. Lee Jones, there you are, Lee Jones, and Andrew both live in the Yarra Valley, fantastic, and their families have lived there for a long time, so very close with them. And one other special lady, so sorry, wonderful Jackie Huggins. I haven't seen you for a long time, sis, but I'll catch up certainly with you after. Can I just close by saying that I love footy clubs. I'm very passionate about footy. I do sit on a reconciliation action plan with another football club, and the lessons that I think have been learnt on this latest journey have been ones that have where we've really had to think about the genuine approach to reconciliation. And I might just say, it's not my favourite word, reconciliation. I studied commercial principles and practice at school, and if you don't know what that means, it's about balancing the books. Well, I don't think that's going to ever happen in reality, because our community represents, for those of you that don't know, 2.5% of the total Australian population. And our kids, God love them, our under 14s represent just over 44%, and our under 25s, that 50% mark, which, is a big call on them. And but so many of them, and they're not kids, but, they're babies in my mind, and but, some of them have grown into wonderful people and wonderful leaders, but there is a great expectation on their shoulders. So just for me, learning is something that we need to remember every day, that we can always learn something different. Each of our communities have their own way of welcoming people to country, and it comes from your belonging. And I picked these leaves, as I always do, from my place where I was born, and many generations before me. I'm one of the lucky ones, and to all our communities here, I want to acknowledge that, because that's one of the things that non-Aboriginal people don't know in a lot of situations, that so many of our communities have not got a place to live, have not got a place to call their own. And for me, that was through a legacy of my dad. And so 2 generations beyond me, I'm very pleased to say that we still have a home and we still have a place, but so many of our community may never know their place. So we are the Wurundjeri are the Manigum people, and it's about the gift of this land that we have to share with you. Our culture is all about sharing and caring, so we always want to give back and should give back to the land, anything and everything that we take from the land. And today, this gesture of the offering of a gum leaf to you is that I'll take a leaf on your behalf, and I'll leave them down there on the stage, and please feel free to come up later and grab a leaf. Accepting this leaf means that you are welcome to everything from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. It also means that, and Nodjkamwa, thank you, because you joined with me to honour the spirits of my ancestors. And we have a job to do. We have a responsibility if you accept this leaf, because we need don't we, to maintain at least what we've got around us in the environment and the climate. Hopefully we can improve that, but working together, I'm sure we can at least have some kind of balance. So thank you for having me here today. My language is Sawoi Wurrung. Waminjaka Wurundjeri Balak Yemen Kundi Bek, and you are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. Thank you.
So I'm now delighted to welcome our next guest. I'm delighted to now introduce Karen Mundine, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Reconciliation Australia. Karen is from the Bundjalung Nation of northern New South Wales, and she's had more than 20 years' experience leading community engagement, public advocacy, communications and social marketing campaigns. Over her career, she's been instrumental in some of Australia's watershed national events, including the Apology of the Stolen Generations, Centenary of Federation commemorations, Cobbery 2000 and the 1997 Australian Reconciliation Convention. I'd like to invite Karen to join us.
Good morning. I am Karen Mundine. I am the CEO of Reconciliation Australia, and I walk with my ancestors of the Bundjalung Nation. Aunty Joy, who's just leaving, but thank you, Aunty Joy, for your very warm welcome. I think it's always very generous and very warm. I acknowledge the ancestors of this place, their continuing connection to country. I acknowledge the leaders and the elders of today, and those that are still to emerge to take us into a brighter future. I'd also like to acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today with us and your continuing connection to culture and to land. And I'd also especially like to acknowledge the non-Indigenous people who walk with us in this journey of reconciliation. So thank you all for joining us today for this 2018 National Reconciliation Action Plan Conference, Progressing Reconciliation. The conference brings together RAP partners from all over this country, in urban, rural and remote parts. And you are contributing to the progression of reconciliation. You do this by building and maintaining relationships, engaging in respectful practice, and creating opportunities for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, organisations and communities. Now the RAP program, as many of you would know, was launched 12 years ago in 2006, when 8 brave partners saw the potential of a new initiative that would allow them to foster reconciliation within their spheres of influence. Since then, the program has grown leaps and bounds, and its impact cannot be denied. More than 1.5 million Australians study or work in an organisation with a RAP, spread across over 1,000 organisations. More recently, we developed the Ryze Framework, which encompasses 4 different types of RAPs, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with: reflect, innovate, stretch, and elevate. And these 4 types accommodate organisations at different stages of their reconciliation journey. Now, reconciliation is a complex mission. Many organisations want to get involved, but aren't quite sure where to begin. Some want to extend on what fantastic work that they're already doing. And what RAPs provide is a practical and tailored plan of action to support your organisation's core business and promote reconciliation by working collaboratively and meaningfully with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and communities. It's really exciting to be here today to bring members of the RAP community together in the same room as we have, and to see representations from a broad range of sectors. The partners in attendance today all have experience in the development and implementation of a RAP, and there is so much to learn from each other, to tell your stories and share your learnings. At Reconciliation Australia, our vision is for a just, equitable and reconciled Australia. And the enormous support that we get from our RAP partners and their dedication to driving reconciliation into the future makes me very confident that together we can achieve our goal. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our conference partners, Swinburne University and our Richmond Football Club, who not only bringing us together today, but also being fantastic partners in our journey of reconciliation. I'd also like to let you know, as has been mentioned, that we are launching 4 RAP promotional videos, and you guys will be the first to see them. I haven't even seen them. They'll be shown throughout the day, today and tomorrow, so keep an eye out for them. They demonstrate some of the fantastic work that's being done by you guys out there in the field. And lastly, thank you to each and every one of you and your organisations. You are driving reconciliation in your organisations, in the communities that you work and serve, and in the broader Australian community. I look forward to each of you sharing your stories over the next few days, and of course, hearing and following your success as we move together towards a reconciled nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. It's a great pleasure to now introduce Professor Linda Kristjanson, AO, Vice Chancellor and President of Swinburne. Professor Kristjanson guides Swinburne's vision to be a world-class university creating social and economic impact through science, technology, and innovation. Professor Kristjanson also leads Swinburne on our journey of reconciliation and our engagement with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I'd like to invite Professor Kristjanson to join us. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and good morning, everyone. I would also like to respectfully acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional owners of the land where we're gathered this morning, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. We also pay respect to all Aboriginal community elders past and present who reside in the area and are an integral part of our story. I'd like to acknowledge, of course, first of all, Aunty Joy Murphy-Wandin, AO. Thank you so much. You are a role model in my life. I always learn from every welcome you give and every time we speak. So thank you so much for your openness and for your generosity. Dr. Jackie Huggins, AM, co-chair of National Congress. Thank you so much for being here today. Professor Tom Kama, AO, co-chair of Reconciliation Australia, where you are, I can't see. Karen Mundine, thank you so much, CEO of Reconciliation Australia. Thank you so much for your leadership and your wise words. Brendon Gale, CEO of Richmond Football Club. Thank you for your partnership on this important mission that we are holding hands and doing together, and I really appreciate the shared leadership. And I would like to acknowledge others here. I won't name everybody in the room or we'd be here till the end of the day, but I'd like to say just a heartfelt thanks to all of you for making this an important priority in your life and in your work by being here today. We are holding the first Reconciliation Action Conference in this country. This is part of our history that we're writing today, and it's part of an ongoing conversation that we need to share, we need to amplify, and we need to learn from. So good morning and welcome to this very special 2018 conference. It's a privilege to open this event with our co-host Reconciliation Australia Richmond Football Club and the Corrin Gamaji Institute. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to also briefly share with you a little bit about Swinburne's reconciliation journey. For more than 30 years, Swinburne has engaged with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples and their communities. But I will be very honest with you. It is my belief that this engagement has been what I would call piecemeal, and has been in focused areas where there have been individuals with leadership and energy to engage. And we've done some wonderful work over the years, and I would acknowledge Aunty Joy Murphy in helping us in the earlier years, to Sharon Ryze, who has been a leader in fostering engagement and education within the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and building those bridges with the university, and of course Dr. Andrew Peters, who has helped us. And through these individuals, we began a conversation where the wider university started to engage. So it wasn't only pockets of the university that were talking about these matters. When I came to Swinburne in 2011, I was surprised and frankly disappointed that we didn't have a RAP already. And so we got going. And it just tells you when we put our minds to something and work together how much we can achieve. And that is because the values deep within the Swinburne culture were there, those values around inclusion and participation. And so it was about extracting those values, bringing together the leadership that had been embedded within the organization, and really starting to have broader conversations with the generous advice of our elders. And we then prepared our first launch of our RAP for 2014, and our RAP for 2017 was achieved at the Elevate status. So it tells you where we began and where we are now. Our vision for reconciliation is that Swinburne will be a place where Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, their heritage, culture and spirituality are valued, respected and celebrated. Along our journey of reconciliation, we have learned and are continuing to learn a great deal. We have learned that broad and meaningful cultural change requires a sustained and significant commitment. We've learned to genuinely engage with our communities. We have deepened our understanding of how we can empower individuals through education. And with the support of our wonderful partners, we are helping organizations to also determine their own futures. Now, universities have a very privileged and special place in society. We have a role and a responsibility to be thought leaders. And so, in the spirit of thought leadership, we also have seen the RAP as an opportunity to be a thought leader in the field of reconciliation. And I recognize the chair of our reconciliation steering group, Ian Ham, who's with us today, who comes to council and helps us to deepen our understanding of the responsibilities we have as a thought leader in the community. Our thought leadership has taught us that we must invest in initiatives that support truth-telling. Truth-telling has to come before reconciliation. We have to have those honest conversations. It has taught us about the importance of Indigenous governance, about celebrating and understanding Indigenous culture, the wisdom that can enrich our teaching and learning from the deep knowledges that we can gain from our elders, and to embrace research engagement that is respectful and enriched by Indigenous understanding. The Mundine Tumbadul Centre at Swinburne has been instrumental in progressing reconciliation across our organisation. Through the centre, we are engaging students, staff, our industry partners and the broader community, and helping them to understand the importance of reconciliation, and through this, the healing benefits for all of us. Swinburne has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to improving educational access, participation, and achievement for Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander peoples. In doing so, we have remained true to the values of our founders, George and Ethel Swinburne. These values that they embraced were around social inclusion, innovation, and a determination to create positive change. This conference will give us all an opportunity to reflect on our own reconciliation journeys, our achievements and our challenges, and the ways that our RAPs can enrich our organizations and our communities. I trust you will enjoy the conference, and I thank you so much for joining us on this journey.
Thank you very much, Vice-Chancellor. I'm also delighted to introduce Brendon Gale, CEO of Richmond Football Club. Brendon was appointed CEO in August 2009. Prior to that, he was a lawyer with a leading Australian commercial law firm and later a sporting administrator as CEO of the AFL Players Association. Brendon has also served on the board of the Victorian Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission from 2009 to 2013. I'd like to invite Brendon to join us.
Wow. Joy, what a turn-up. This is fantastic. Firstly, look, on behalf of the club, I'm delighted to welcome you all today. This is a great turn-up, and I'm delighted to acknowledge the first Australians, and in particular the owners of the traditional lands in which we meet, the Wurundjeri people, the Kulin Nations, and clearly I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd particularly like to thank Joy for your welcome, Joy, and your encouraging remarks. But in particular, you talked about the journey that we've been on. Your encouragement and your counsel along that journey is extremely valuable. We're thrilled to be able to host this two-day conference in partnership with Reconciliation Australia and Swinburne University, and I'd like to thank the many people from all three organisations that have made this conference a reality. In particular, I'd like to welcome the CEO of Reconciliation Australia, Karen Mundine, and to the Swinburne Vice-Chancellor, Linda Kristjanson, co-hosts and true partners. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Jackie Huggins, sitting next to me down there, the co-chair of the National Congress of Australia's First Peoples. A real highlight of our year this year was a number of our young people had the opportunity to attend the United Nations at the invitation of the Congress. They presented at the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. It was an incredible highlight. It was a real eye-opener, and I know they walked a little taller by having you by their side, Jackie. It was a terrific experience for them. It is also poignant that we meet at the Wurundjeri Institute here at Richmond Football Club in the Morris Rioli room. Morris was a champion of this club. He truly blazed a trail, and equally was a champion of his people. And he's up there. That's Morris up there, a beautiful painting in flight, and I'm sure he'd look down with great pride and encouragement given what will take place here over the next couple of days. Like many others in this room, our reconciliation journey has been an education. It's been trying at times and emotional at others. But equally, we've been lifted and inspired by so many of the young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders we've been lucky enough to work with at the Wurundjeri Institute over the last few years. We've reflected on the past with sorrow, embraced the present with commitment, and looked to the future with great belief. Belief that this will be a country where respect, trust, and positive relationships will underpin our collective way of life. A country where First Peoples determine their own futures, a country where we celebrate, learn from, and take enormous pride in the rich history of our first Australians. And what better way to progress that cause than to have 300 plus like-minded people in one room, willing to share learnings, challenge the status quo, and work collaboratively to find meaningful ways forward. Again, when I reflect on our reconciliation journey, it has simply made us a better club, a more understanding club, a more caring club, a more connected club. It's now part of who we are, what we stand for, and we're much better for it on and off the field. And that to me is the simplicity of it. True reconciliation can only make us a better country. But of course, the complexity of it is ingrained in our everyday life, and therein lies the challenge before us over the next couple of days. I wish you all the very best over the next 2 days and look forward to what is collectively shared, learned, and importantly, actioned once we leave this room. And I'd like to finish by again thanking Reconciliation Australia for their guidance and support. In many ways, they've given us the confidence to step into this space, to ask questions, to build partnerships, to make mistakes, but ultimately play a leadership role. I've no doubt they've done the same for so many in this room. And finally, I want to thank each and every person and organisation for being here today, and obviously we're all part of the solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brendon. So as conference convener on behalf of the three organisations, Reconciliation Australia, the Mundine Terminal Centre at Swinburne, and the Wurundjeri Institute at Richmond Football Club, I'm delighted to welcome you to the National Reconciliation Action Plan Conference. It's wonderful to see the incredible support for the conference. We're still trying to fit everyone in. We think we've got over 380 people registered, and there's about 50 people on the wait list. So clearly there's a significant demand in the community for guidance, engagement and dialogue on reconciliation and the RAPs. And so engaging with the conference and following up from what Angela said earlier, I respectfully call on all of us here to genuinely recognise in discussing the conference today, to genuinely recognise the key principles of self-determination, Indigenous knowledge, respect, reflexivity and reciprocity. This recognition is critical not only for this conference, but also back in our workplaces and across our everyday lives. And finally, I'd like to sincerely thank a number of people who've been assisting and organising this conference from a whole range of different areas. So the team for Reconciliation Australia, in particular Natasha Aunty and Christine Derny, the staff from the Wurundjeri Institute and Richmond Football Club, particularly Michael Lacey and Aaron Clark, the team from Swinburne Advancement, especially Simone Hamlin and Vicky Kristjanson, the staff from Swinburne's Mundine Terminal Centre, Vicky Peters, Lee Jones, Joel Bajurs, Chiara Rule and Andrea Velarde. And a special thanks to Angela Burt for both emceeing the event, for extraordinary efforts in organising this event. So thank you for everyone here to attending the conference, and I hope you engage, enjoy and learn over the 2 days. So thank you very much.